Yes people, how are we doing? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Seat Beats. In this episode I'm going to be looking at samples. Where should we look for them? What should we be looking for in a sample? How should we use them? Ethics, etc, that kind of thing. Because believe it or not, there's some samples that I think you shouldn't really use if the original tune is just untouchable. I think some people who sample will know what I mean there, but we'll get into it anyway. Before we do, please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, that'll tell you when I've got new videos up, and have an explore on Northentic Records YouTube. There's reaction videos, beat vids, music videos, everything's on there. It's doing really well, and yeah, more followers always helps, so thank you. So let's have a look, let's get into it. So when we are picking samples, one of the things that I believe is major to that process is picking something that you yourself feel. It would be easy to think about what everybody else wants and, you know, the boxes you should be ticking, but really it should be about what you are feeling. If a sample moves you maybe emotionally or does something to you that makes you go, yeah, I'm feeling that, those are the samples. And sometimes it can take ages to find a good sample. There's a lot of music out there, but the side of beat making that people don't see is the amount of time that goes into searching for beats, for samples. It can take a long time. Sometimes you get lucky and you have a good run and you get a few together, but a lot of the time it's hours and hours and hours of digging. So another thing that you need to be looking for is samples that offer structure. So a sample that, you know, you can chop them up, but even when you chop the sample up a lot, there's still got to be enough there to make a hook section, a verse section, an intro, an outro. So you really want to be careful. I'm sure that a lot of producers have experienced it where you find a killer sample, but there's not actually a lot more in the tune that you're sampling that offers diversity to make a structured beat. So yeah, that's another thing. We spoke about ethics before as well. Sometimes you find samples that are really, really good, but there's either something about the tune that means I shouldn't really touch that, maybe what the tune stood for in the first place. And also sometimes the original tune is just too good and you think, nah, I shouldn't touch that. It's just nothing more needs to ever be done with that tune. I've definitely felt that. It'd be interesting to know if anybody else has as well. So let's have a look at this this sample that I found here. It goes like this. So I want to show you the original, the bit that stirred me emotionally when I heard it. I think it's around this part. Let's have a look. Yeah, it's this part here. So I'll get it roughly where I want it to show you. So just roughly around there. That was the bit that first captured me. So I've trained my ear over a long period to always be on the lookout for samples. If I'm watching TV, adverts, movie soundtracks, TV themes, everything. Obviously vinyl, YouTube, I'm an e-digger as well. I've no shame in that, I don't care. Everything is fair game. Unless, like I said before, ethically it doesn't sit right for some reason. That's just how I feel. Other people may feel different. So I found this sample. There's lots of other parts of this that are really good that I've chopped up.
Stick it out here, and let's try to make it together, because we first met through a physical attraction.
Now this sample has a really beautiful bass line to it sat in there already, so I knew that I didn't have to do much with the bass line. So here's the clean sample. that I've just showed you but chopped correctly. This is what that sounds like. Yeah, so that was the first part, but then I wanted it every now and then to you know, just do something different. So it sounds like this. This is just a sample on its own. So that's going to play 3 times. That's twice. And then I've just doubled the first part. That's just to give it a little bit of diversity there. Let's have a look at the hook music. So the hook starts off with this part. Sorry, the hook starts off with this part. And then it moves into this little double here. This is another sample chop. I've no idea what it's saying there. It sounds like higher level, higher, I don't know, but it doesn't matter anyway. People don't notice things like that. On the back end of the chorus, so you've got this part here. And then I find another part of the sample which is completely different and use that to end the hook. And it sounds like this.
Then came the question, where do we go from here?
I think it says answer the question, where do we go from here? But it's a sick question to ask anyway. It's a good theme in itself. So yeah, so that's the samples. The introduction, sorry, goes like this. And then it fades in and drops to the drums. Before we go to the drums, I also want to say that this is a very old sample, so it's got a lot of grit to it. It needed quite a bit of EQ in to get it anywhere near usable really. So I've brought the bass line out more and just tried to stop the high levels hitting too hard. It was pretty hard to do a basic mix off, to be honest with you. It wasn't easy. And that was maybe with this sample the part that I missed out myself when doing it this time, because I also make mistakes. But it sounds pretty cool. I'm quite happy with it. It's got that old style, you know, grit to it that comes with using old samples. Drums are very simple. We'll just have a quick look at them. So, bass drum, hi-hats, snare, yeah. So it'd be pretty interesting to hear what other people feel about their ethics of using samples. Some people, I know some people are very like, you should only dig in vinyl. I don't believe that myself, dig anywhere, and I know that there's lots of big name producers out there that do as well. Also, the thing that I always point out, keep it simple. You don't always have to do highly technical things with production. If I get highly technical with stuff, it's because the sample or the process has required it from me, not me putting it in first. If I can avoid that complexity and keep it simple, I always will, because rappers, they don't really care about all the stuff that's gone in the background. Like you, when you first pick a sample, they go off a feeling. They just listen to the thing as a whole and they get a feeling, and that inspires what they write. I know that as a rapper myself, and I know that's what the rappers have told me. It's just when you get that, I've got to do something to this beat. That's all they care about. I'm a producer that makes beats for rappers. That's what I do. So let's have a look at the beat then. Before we get into it, please remember, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon, that'll tell you when I've got new videos. And this is structured, before we start, for rappers. So it's an intro, a 16, chorus, and back into a verse music, and then chorus again. Did I get that right? Intro, verse, chorus, chorus. Very basic, but for rappers. Let's get into it. Let's go.